trapped with my alien stepsister, as her mating season began. HFY Reddit. Ryan arrived at the frontier station with a single bag and no clear idea of what waited for him. The station floated above a red dwarf star, glowing like a metal ring caught in firelight. It was meant to be a safe place, a meeting ground for many species, but to Ryan it felt quiet in the wrong way. Corridors were wide and clean, yet footsteps echoed too loudly, as if the station itself was holding its breath. Ryan was human, born on a crowded world far from here. He had learned early to fix things, to stay calm, and to survive pressure. His mother's marriage had brought him to this place. Her new partner was an alien diplomat from a proud species known for strict rules and old customs. Through that bond, Ryan had gained an alien stepsister named Luma. Luma was taller than Ryan, with smooth skin that shifted color slightly with her mood. Her eyes reflected light in strange angles, making it hard to read her thoughts. She spoke little and moved with control, like every step had meaning. Ryan had only met her once before. That meeting had been polite, distant, and careful. They were not close. They were not enemies. They were strangers connected by law, not choice. Ryan was guided through the station by an automated system. It showed him his assigned quarters and basic rules. Most of the station's residents were not human. Some watched him with open curiosity. Others looked away as if he did not belong. He was unpacking when the lights dimmed. At first he thought it was a simple power shift. Frontier stations were old and often unstable. Then the floor vibrated. A deep mechanical sound rolled through the walls, slow and heavy. An alert voice echoed through the corridors. Lockdown initiated. External access sealed. All residents returned to assigned zones. Ryan stepped into the corridor just as armored doors slammed shut at both ends. The station lights turned red. Emergency power came online with a low hum. His wrist unit flickered with warnings. Communication offline. Navigation locked. External docking disabled. Ryan felt a tight pull in his chest. This was not a drill. Moments later, Luma appeared at the far end of the corridor. She moved fast, her calm broken by urgency. Her skin color had darkened, a sign of stress. She stopped when she saw Ryan. "You must come with me," she said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were not. Ryan followed without argument. They moved through maintenance corridors, away from public areas. Along the way, Ryan noticed others watching them. Some whispered. Some stared with sharp interest. They reached a sealed chamber and entered after Luma scanned her identity. The room was simple, built for isolation. Medical equipment lined one wall. A single window showed the burning star outside. Ryan turned to her. "What is happening?" Luma took a long breath. "The station has entered binding lock," Ryan frowned. "That does not explain much." She hesitated, then spoke. "My people have entered a biological cycle. It happens once every few decades. It is called the binding season." Ryan waited. "During this time," Luma continued, "my kind must isolate, our bodies change, our minds are tested. It is a time of judgment." Ryan understood enough to feel uneasy. "And the station? It was meant to protect me," she said quietly. "Instead, something has gone wrong." Another alert sounded. Security drones deployed, defense grid active. Then, without warning, the alert cut off. The lights flickered. Gravity shifted for a second, enough to make Ryan stumble. A loud crash echoed from somewhere far below. Ryan caught himself on the wall. That did not sound normal. Luma's jaw tightened. The defense grid should not fail. Ryan moved to the control panel and scanned the data. Power surges, unauthorized access, system errors stacking too fast. "This looks like sabotage," he said. Luma did not deny it. "Some believe the binding season should be survived without help. Others believe failure is deserved." Ryan looked at her. "Failure of what?" She met his gaze. "Of leadership, of worth." A distant scream echoed through the station. Ryan's hands clenched. "People are getting hurt." "Yes," Luma said, "and some will blame me for it." Security drones suddenly burst through a nearby corridor wall, sparks flying. They moved erratically, weapons spinning without control. One fired blindly, scorching the ceiling. Ryan pulled Luma behind a support beam. The drone slammed into a bulkhead and went still. "That thing almost killed someone," Ryan said. "Others will not be so lucky," Luma replied. Ryan felt anger rise, sharp and clear. "This station is full of civilians." "Many do not see humans as civilians," she said. Ryan stared at her. "Do you?" She paused. "I do not know." That answer hurt more than he expected. More alerts filled the air. Life support fluctuations. Habitat breaches in the lower rings. Unknown movement detected in dark sectors. Ryan accessed maintenance maps. If power keeps failing, oxygen will drop in the outer habitats. "Then many will die," Luma said. Ryan took a breath. "Then we fix it." She looked at him, surprised. "You are not trained for this station." "I am trained to adapt," Ryan said. "Humans always are." Another tremor shook the station. Something heavy struck the hull from the outside. The sound echoed like a distant drum. Luma's eyes widened. "Creatures are drawn to energy storms." "They should not be here," Ryan checked the readings. "They are already inside." Silence followed, too deep, too empty. From the shadows beyond the corridor, something moved. Ryan reached for a tool from his belt, little more than a repair cutter. It was not a weapon, but it was all he had. Luma straightened, her posture changing. Fear was still there, but beneath it was resolve. "If you stay near me," she said, "you will be judged." Ryan stepped forward. "I am already here." The lights went out completely. In the darkness, a low sound echoed, not mechanical, not human. Ryan tightened his grip and stood his ground as the station fell silent around them. The next day, or what passed for day on the station, the red lights kept their dull pulse. The corridors smelled faintly of metal and ozone. Ryan had not slept. Sleep was a risk he could not afford. He checked the control panels repeatedly, scanning systems for anything that might save lives. Luma moved beside him, silent most of the time, but occasionally glancing at him with an expression Ryan could not fully read. "Why do they call it binding season?" Ryan asked, trying to focus on her rather than the alarms that still blared quietly in the background. "It is a test," Luma replied, her voice low. "A test of control, of strength, of judgment. Weakness brings dishonor, failure brings death." Ryan swallowed hard. "And the station, why does it lock down everyone?" "It is supposed to be a sanctuary," she said, "but this time something went wrong. Some believe the trial should happen naturally. Others hope it will fail so I will be punished. They are watching." Ryan frowned. "Watching?" "Yes, sensors, monitors, drones. Every action is observed." He shivered. The station suddenly felt less like a home and more like a cage. They moved to the lower levels where power readings were most unstable. Several bulkheads were scorched, life support tubes exposed. One of the oxygen regulators was cracked and leaking. Luma froze. "I cannot touch this," she said. "Then I will," Ryan said. "Show me." He knelt, examining the damaged unit. He tightened connectors and rerouted auxiliary power. Sparks flew and a warning alarm blared, but oxygen levels stabilized slightly. Luma watched, her eyes wide. "Humans survive by fixing things others cannot," she said. "You may be the only hope for some." Ryan felt a surge of pride, quickly tempered by fear. "You mean for everyone on this station?" Her skin darkened slightly, a sign of tension. "Yes." Ryan looked around. The shadows in the hallways seemed thicker now, moving as if something alive waited in them. He held his tool tightly. Luma stood close enough that he could feel her presence, calm but tense. "Have they ever tried to remove humans during the season?" he asked. "Humans are usually outsiders," she said. "Not part of the rules, but anyone interfering with the binding season is considered a threat." He nodded. "So if I help you, they might come after me." "They will," she said simply. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the habitat ring. The walls shook violently, debris fell, screams of various species echoed down the corridors. Ryan jumped up. People are trapped. Yes, Luma said, and many will not survive without help. Without thinking, Ryan ran toward the chaos. Luma followed, moving with her usual control but keeping pace with him. They reached a section where several aliens were trapped under collapsed beams. Dust choked the air. Oxygen was low. Ryan and Luma worked together to lift the beams, direct survivors to safety, and reroute emergency oxygen lines. Sparks flew, dust filled their lungs, and every second counted. Ryan realized that some aliens looked at him differently now. Fear mixed with respect. A shadow passed overhead. Ryan looked up. A drone had fallen from a broken rail, sparking and twitching, almost landing on one of the rescued aliens. He pushed them aside just in time. Luma's skin changed again, brightening this time, a sign of relief and admiration. "You move too fast," she said. Ryan laughed shortly. "Better fast than dead." When the chaos calmed slightly, Ryan checked the communications terminal. It still showed interference from multiple sources. Someone or something was trying to control the station's systems remotely. "They want me out of the way," he said, "and maybe you too." "They do," Luma admitted, "but you have survived longer than anyone expected. Humans are unpredictable." Her eyes softened slightly. "I did not expect to see you endure." Ryan glanced at her. "Endurance is what humans do. We survive where others fail." The air trembled again. This time a creature unlike any he had seen moved through the shadows. Its body was long, sinewy, and its eyes glowed faintly in the emergency lights. It hissed, low and terrifying. Alien observers on the station rarely allowed such things inside. But here it was, drawn by unstable energy surges. Ryan and Luma froze. The creature's movement was deliberate, almost intelligent. It smelled fear and strength at the same time. Luma whispered they should not be able to enter. The energy storm was supposed to repel them. Ryan gritted his teeth. "We fight or we die." He grabbed a piece of metal tubing from the floor. Luma's eyes widened, but she did not stop him. Together they created a barrier, forcing the creature back. Sparks flew as it collided with metal, retreating for a moment. "Keep it back," Ryan said. "I can repair the door controls and trap it." Luma moved with precision, guiding him toward the nearest control hub. Together they rewired the damaged doors using spare circuits. It took minutes that felt like hours. The creature prowled outside, hissing and testing the barriers. When the system finally locked, the creature was trapped in a side corridor. Ryan exhaled deeply. "We survived that." Luma looked at him with something close to respect. "Survival is rare," she said. "Most would have fallen long before this." Ryan shrugged, tiredness weighing on him. "I told you humans endure." They returned to the main chamber to rest briefly. Oxygen levels were stable. Power fluctuations had eased, but the station still felt fragile, like a glass bubble above a boiling sun. Ryan took the moment to study Luma. Her face was pale under the emergency lights. "How long does this season last?" he asked. "Weeks," she said. "Perhaps longer. There is no mercy for those who fail," Ryan swallowed. "And we are trapped with it." "Yes," Luma said, "and every wrong move can be fatal." He nodded slowly, understanding the depth of danger, but he also felt a spark of determination. If survival was possible anywhere, it was here, with humans who never gave up. Suddenly, alarms blared louder. Life support tubes hissed. Ryan looked at the screens. Another section of the station was failing. A breach in the outer hull threatened the habitat ring again. "We cannot ignore this," Ryan said. Luma nodded. "We go together. Failure is not an option." As they ran to the next section, Ryan realized something profound. The station was not just a cage. It was a test, not of his strength alone, but of their ability to work together, human and alien side by side. And if they survived, it could change everything the galaxy thought about humans. Shadows shifted in the corridors. The creature outside might still be hunting. Rival factions might watch from afar. Every moment was a choice between action and death. but Ryan stepped forward, gripping his tools and determination alike. Luma beside him, he knew they could face whatever the binding season, and the station itself, threw at them. Ryan woke to the red glow still pulsing in the station. Fatigue weighed on his body, but he knew rest was not an option. Every sound in the corridor felt magnified, the hum of the power grid, the hiss of life support, and the occasional distant crash of debris. Luma was already awake, checking the environmental panels with her usual precision. "The breach is widening," she said without looking up. "If it reaches the habitat ring, many will suffocate." Ryan rubbed his eyes. "Then we fix it. No questions." Together they moved toward the damaged sector. The path was littered with fallen panels and exposed wires. Sparks shot out from broken circuits, giving the dark corridors an eerie, flickering light. Shadows twisted and lengthened. Every sound made Ryan's heart jump. As they worked, Luma explained more about her species' traditions. During the binding season, any failure can trigger political chaos. Rival clans will attempt to claim the weak. They test endurance, judgment, and control. Ryan nodded. "So the season is not just physical. It is political." "Yes, but survival here can defy expectations." Their repair efforts were interrupted when a series of loud crashes echoed from above. Something massive had broken into the upper levels. Ryan realized that more creatures or possibly rival agents had entered the station. They had no time to worry about specifics. The station itself was turning against them. They reached a hull breach leaking air into space. Ryan grabbed a portable welding torch while Luma calculated the correct pressure adjustments. He moved swiftly, clamping the metal in place and sealing the leak just as the floor vibrated violently. A massive impact struck nearby, sending debris flying. Ryan shielded Luma as a large fragment hit the wall behind them. Dust and sparks filled the air. When it cleared, the corridor was partially collapsed, forcing them to climb over jagged edges. "Humans survive under pressure," Ryan muttered. "We adapt." Luma looked at him with a mixture of awe and disbelief. "Your species endures more than I thought." As they moved through the station, they encountered survivors. A small group of aliens huddled in a corner, terrified. Ryan guided them, calming panic and fixing emergency systems to restore oxygen. Luma directed the group with her authority, but she kept glancing at Ryan, clearly noting his determination. Suddenly, the shadows shifted. Something large and fast moved along the corridor. Its glowing eyes reflected in Ryan's vision. He grabbed a loose pipe and swung it as the creature lunged. It hissed and recoiled, scraping against the wall. Luma stayed close, analyzing its movements. "It is intelligent," she said. "It is testing you." Ryan's pulse raced. "Testing survival," he said. Together, they led the creature into a narrow maintenance shaft. Ryan rigged a makeshift trap using broken wiring and magnetic clamps. Sparks flew, and the creature let out a sound that echoed through the station. When it finally collapsed, the corridor was quiet, but the threat was far from over. After the encounter, Ryan and Luma continued toward the main power hub. The station's energy grid was failing in multiple sectors. Without restoration, more hull breaches could occur, endangering everyone. As they worked, Luma revealed more about her people's culture. Binding season is not just a test, it is a declaration of leadership. Failure is public, survival is respect. Ryan glanced at her. Then surviving together might change everything. The moment of calm was shattered by alarms. Another sector was failing, but this time the power surge caused an explosion nearby. Ryan was thrown against a wall, bruised but alive. Luma pulled him up, ignoring the sparks raining around them. "You should rest," Luma said. Her voice was unusually soft. "I cannot," he replied. "Not yet, people need me." They moved into the central hub. Ryan quickly adapted alien technology to human methods, using improvised circuits to reroute power. Luma assisted with precise adjustments, her trust in Ryan growing. Together, They stabilized the hub. Oxygen readings returned to safer levels. Power fluctuations decreased. The immediate danger was lessened, but the station still groaned under stress, as if it were alive and in pain. As they caught a breath, Ryan realized how much he had learned. The creatures outside, the rival clans watching, the expectations of Luma's species, they all assumed humans would fail. Yet here he stood, repairing, protecting, surviving. Luma studied him. You are different from other humans. You endure, you adapt, you survive. Ryan smiled faintly. Humans always survive, we endure where others collapse. Another distant alarm sounded. Ryan checked the control panel. Multiple sensors detected movement approaching their sector. More creatures, intruders, possibly both. They braced themselves. Ryan gripped his makeshift weapon. Luma focused, ready to act. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. In that moment, Ryan understood something important. The binding season was meant to test her, but it had also tested him. Every choice, every action, every risk taken had shown not just endurance, but courage and ingenuity. The station continued to shake, creak, and pulse. Danger surrounded them. Yet Ryan and Luma moved forward, side by side, proving that humans could survive even in the harshest conditions, and perhaps change the way aliens viewed them forever. Ryan and Luma moved quickly through the station corridors. Every step was measured, careful, but urgent. The station trembled from impacts above and below. The red glow of emergency lights gave everything a tense, eerie feel. Sparks from broken circuits flew occasionally, hitting walls and floors. "We need to reach the main command deck," Luma said. "If we can stabilize it, the station may survive." Ryan nodded, gripping a metal rod he had adapted for defense. "Lead the way." As they approached the central elevator, alarms blared. Gravity fluctuated. The floor heaved beneath their feet. Luma held onto a railing, her skin brightening, a sign of extreme stress in her species. Ryan followed, keeping his eyes on the shadows. "They are coming," Luma whispered. "The judges. They have sent observers to ensure the binding season is obeyed." "Observers?" Ryan asked. "You mean like enemies?" "Yes," she said. "If we fail, they will punish both of us." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Then we succeed." They ran across a corridor when a large section of the ceiling collapsed behind them. Dust filled the air. Luma coughed but pressed on. Ryan pulled her along, ignoring the pain in his arms from previous injuries. Every moment mattered. One wrong step could mean death. They reached a sealed door leading to the command deck. Luma scanned her identity. Nothing happened. The door remained locked. "Someone has overridden the access," she said. "Then we go around," Ryan said, looking at the maintenance hatch. He pried it open. It was narrow, forcing them to crawl single file. The shadows shifted as they moved. Strange sounds echoed, creatures or perhaps mechanical drones hunting them. Ryan kept moving, refusing to give fear any hold. When they reached the command deck, they found chaos. Consoles were damaged, screens flickering. Aliens were trying to restore systems but failing. Panic spread quickly. Ryan immediately assessed the power grid, improvising connections. Luma directed the crew, her voice firm but calm. The judges' observation drones appeared in the upper corners, watching silently. Ryan knew they were assessing him, seeing every mistake. He ignored them, focusing on the task. This was survival, not performance. A massive rumble shook the deck. The hull threatened to give way in multiple areas. Luma's calculations showed that the station would collapse within minutes unless power was restored. "Ryan, reroute auxiliary power to the outer sectors. I will stabilize the command systems," Luma said. He obeyed immediately, connecting circuits, redirecting energy. Sparks flew, alarms screeched, but the systems responded. Slowly, emergency lights shifted to steady white. Gravity stabilized. Oxygen levels improved. One of the judges' drones moved closer. A cold, mechanical voice sounded. "Human intervention detected. Protocol violation. This action is unprecedented." Ryan glanced at it. Then I guess humans are unpredictable. Luma smiled faintly. You are teaching them a lesson. They will remember this. Suddenly, another breach alarm sounded. More creatures were moving through the outer rings. Ryan and Luma raced to reinforce the bulkheads. They worked in tandem, human ingenuity and alien precision combined. Ryan rigged improvised locks, while Luma calculated the correct pressures and stabilizers. When the last breach was sealed, Ryan and Luma collapsed briefly against a wall, exhausted but alive. Around them, survivors looked at them with a mix of fear and admiration. Humans had not been expected to endure such tests, yet here he stood, standing while many faltered. Ryan, Luma said, her voice quieter, almost reverent, you have changed how they see humans. Your endurance, it is unlike anything they have known. He shrugged, tired but determined. Humans survive, we adapt, we endure. The observation drones retreated. The judges were silent, considering the unprecedented results. Luma's bold actions in speaking against tradition, combined with Ryan's survival and ingenuity, had unsettled them. We may have a chance, Luma whispered. A chance to survive the binding season without being punished. Ryan nodded. We keep moving, we keep surviving. The station still groaned, but for the first time, the immediate threat had lessened. They had proved themselves against both the environment and the political rules of her species. The galaxy's perception of humans might begin to change, one small victory at a time. And as they prepared to move to the next critical section, Ryan understood fully what it meant to endure, to protect, and to survive where others would fail. Together, he and Luma were unstoppable. The binding season had begun to test them both, but neither would fail. Ryan and Luma moved through the station with a sense of purpose. The red glow of emergency lights was fading, replaced slowly by stabilized white illumination. The air still carried a faint metallic scent, but the worst of the immediate dangers had passed. Yet the binding season was not over, and neither were the judgment drones that observed every move. They reached the central control area, where the remaining station personnel worked tirelessly. Ryan immediately assessed the damage, improvising repairs with human ingenuity. Luma directed, calculated, and encouraged. Together, they stabilized the life support systems, sealed hull breaches, and rerouted power. Every action had to be precise. Every error could mean disaster. Observers watched silently from above. Their presence was a reminder that the binding season was still in effect, and that the human who survived beyond expectation was breaking rules no one dared to challenge. Luma turned to Ryan. If we succeed here, we will change how humans are seen. Not just here but across the galaxy. He looked at her. Then we succeed, no hesitation, we endure. Suddenly, alarms blared. A nearby sector's life support was failing. Dust and debris fell as another section of the station began to collapse. Without waiting, Ryan grabbed a metal pipe and a welding torch, moving to secure the area. Luma adjusted systems remotely, calculating stabilizer settings. Sparks flew, machinery groaned, and pressure built up in the tubes around them. They worked together, humans and aliens side by side. Ryan braved unstable floors and flying debris. Luma monitored every calculation, correcting and advising. Their combined efforts were unmatched, proving the unpredictability of humans and the precision of Luma's species. When the last breach was sealed and power fully stabilized, the observers fell silent. The binding season's harshest judgment had been endured. Ryan and Luma stood together, exhausted but victorious. Luma's skin color shifted to a calm shade. The judges, they are reviewing the results. Never has a human endured the binding season alongside an alien so closely. You have changed perception. Ryan smiled faintly, still catching his breath. Humans survive. We endure when others fail. That is all. Reports began to come in across the station. Survivors praised the human who saved them, and alien monitors recorded unprecedented endurance, ingenuity, and bravery. The news spread to the observing judges and rival factions. Many of the old rules were questioned and traditions reconsidered. Luma spoke quietly to Ryan. "You have become my guardian in ways I never expected. Your survival, your courage, it has shifted everything." He nodded. "We survived together. That is what matters." Outside the station, the galaxy's perception began to change. The story of a human enduring and succeeding where alien tradition expected failure spread quietly at first, then more broadly. Whispers became reports, reports became discussions, and discussions became new ideas about humans' resilience. In the station, the remaining survivors worked together, humans and aliens, side by side. The binding season was no longer just a trial for one individual. It became a story of alliance, courage, and endurance. Ryan looked out at the stars beyond the station, realizing how far humans had come, how far he had come. They had been trapped, tested, and judged. Yet through persistence, adaptation, and unwavering courage, they had not only survived but had earned respect across species. And in that moment the truth was clear: never underestimate a human. They endure, they adapt, and they survive. Where others falter, they rise. And sometimes, that rising changes the universe forever.